everyone. Welcome to the In-Depth Genealogist Chit Chat Live. I'm Valerie Eichler Lair. You know that. You should know that. Why don't you know that? Anyway, with me today is our Executive Director with IDG, Terry O'Connell. Hi, Terry.
Hey, Val, how are you?
And they should know that you're the Executive Director, right, Terry?
I would hope so.
Yeah. And we also have our regular panelist, Mary Kircher-Roddy with MKR Genealogy.com. Hi, Mary.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. And they
Good.
should know that I can't say that all really fast. So it's great to see you all here today. And today we are going to go in depth with tabs. It's like kind of like on Big Bang Theory, fun with flags, where we're going to go with fun with tabs. This all started with me doing a mess like this. It doesn't matter what book. This is Evidence Explained. It's the manual for source citations by Elizabeth Shaw and Mills. I always wanted to do, this is the 2007 edition, and I always wanted to redo this, especially during when I was taking the ProGen study group, because I added even more tabs from taking that study group. But hence, it never happened. Then came the third edition in 2015 of Evidence Explained. And since this has been done, there's now a third edition revised that just came out a couple of months ago. I believe it was May of 2017, adding 79 more pages on specific items that if you go to Genealogical Publishing Company, where Elizabeth Shaw and Mills has her books published, it explains exactly what she's added to that third edition revised. But I don't have that book yet. So I went from this to this.
Nice.
Definitely a lot neater.
Yeah. And my goal was, I had more than one goal, but to find a tab that wasn't going to curl, rip, bend. And so I used, and I got these at Walmart. I'm not getting payback from them, but they're what's here in my little town, and it's a package of four colors. So there's 24 tabs. It is the 2 by 3.5 inch. Let me get out my magnifying glass. I can't see without. It's like they make these packages writing smaller over time. 2 by 1.5 inch, because I write big. I wanted to make sure that I could fit what I wanted on the color spot, because the clear or the frosty part is what sticks to the page. So you can see whatever is written there if you've made notes prior to doing any tabs. And again, this is for any type of reference book. I did back in the day remember the insertable tab dividers for binders?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they used to sell them in individual ones, like a package of 10 red, 10 blue, 10 green, 10 yellow. And that's what I used to tab my source, the book called The Source, the guidebook to American Genealogy. And then I used thicker cardstock paper and made my own tabs in addition to those. But anyway, back to these. Tabs are a personal choice. And because I not only use this as a reference for me, I also use it as a teaching guide when I teach classes, when I need to look up something for a student or for a client real fast, or correct student homework. I may have a tab that I know how to do the source citation, but I need to quickly be able to tell them what page and what reference point on that particular page to use. So I may have a tab in here that you don't necessarily need. I do have a tab for census records. Well, I can do a census citation format in my sleep. When you do certain citations over and over again, you can you don't have to refer to this anymore. So again, the tabbing is personal choice. The color is a personal choice. I like bright colors, so that's why the pink, yellow, orange, and green. I did create, with the help of a dear Jeannie friend, Lori Damaris, a spreadsheet that has the page number and what I wrote on each tab. And Terry's going to put that at the bottom of the video, right, Terry?
Mm-hmm.
And then in the blog or on the website. I haven't gotten it up on my website yet, so don't, check with IDG first. So what I basically did was the second goal, not only to have a stronger tab, the plastic tab, one that I could write on, was to tab the same page or the same ones that I had here into the new edition and keep them in order, where I started with a tab at the top, then another one, and then a fourth one, and then back up to the top, whatever page that was going to be. And so I knew right away that I couldn't just go through this book and pick out a page and put a tab on it, because Elizabeth also revised from this edition to this one. And so the page numbers changed. The examples she gave changed. There's additional pages in the front. I didn't make a spreadsheet. Sorry. I didn't make a spreadsheet of every single page that she made a change on or revised. It's several. And so I did a lot of highlighting and making notes. So I ended up having to have both books open and go page by page by page. Oh my gosh, I learned so much of what she added, let alone information that, oh yeah, I read that a long time ago and had forgotten. New examples, one of which had to do, not just because she asked me, but it had to do with my personal research. So I wanted to make note of it because it was very specific type of a citation for my own Chicago research. So there again, I had to go page by page, and to me, it took me a while because I was doing other things as well. And that's basically how I came to using 72 tabs. There's some that I wanted to make more detailed notes, like this example there. And I don't know if it comes in backwards, but it looks backwards to me. But I wanted to add more notes. So in that particular case, and there's only a few cases, I used the wide 3x3 super sticky Post-it note. So between the books, and I'm going to do the same type of thing with my new Mastering Genealogical Documentation, the new book by Thomas W. Jones. So, no, I'm not for hire to do tabs.
You probably make some good money off that. You might want to rethink it.
This is true. I mean, Elizabeth said, she goes, oh my gosh, Valerie, she goes, my own book isn't even tabbed. And I said, send it to me. I'll be happy to tab it for you. But no, she hasn't, but she did share with me exactly what was revised and what was added, and how many more additional citations. And before I take questions, because I know Mary's got some questions that I definitely want to cover, is why do we keep each of these editions? Is exactly what I just said, because there's things in here that she doesn't put in here, and there's things in this one that you won't find in this one. She even says if she did that, the books would be double the size, or maybe triple the size. So I recommend that you keep all the editions. I still have the little tiny the skinny one we called Evidence. I still have that one because when I first started, or when it first came out, that's how I based a lot of my citations on that format, and
I like
have
that
since
format
changed.
better. I like that format better.
Yeah.
Off the skinny book, it was nice and easy.
Yeah. This can be overwhelming, and now too, when even my beginner students, when they see this, it's not so overwhelming for them. You make it fun, you make it interesting. It's all part of how much fun we have doing research too. So, and yeah, I'm self-proclaimed OCD, so the tabs all have to line up together and color coordinated and so forth. But I can put my finger on anything in seconds, and that's the last goal, is to, or actually the first goal, is to be able to do that. So, Mary.
Well, I just love Val's system. I am in ProGen right now, and we had to write our proof argument this month. And I wrote my proof argument, and I'm paging through and paging back through and whatever the book to try to figure out what is my citation for this, that, and the other. Thank goodness it was only the draft, and I will get better on my citations next month. But the day after I turned that in, I thought, I've got to do a Valerie on my book. And so so I did. I got the tabs, and Valerie had done a
Previous video.
Right. Previous video that I watched so I could learn a little bit about it. And I didn't get quite as many tabs as Val did, but I will get probably add more to it. I ran out of tabs, I ran out of time, and I thought, okay, I'm going to work with this for a little bit and see how it goes. True confessions, some of my tabs don't go top, middle, lower, middle, bottom. Then I'm a little mixed up, but that's okay. I can still, take the tab and open it and turn to it, and it all works. So I'm not quite as OCD as Val.
What's nice about this particular kind is they're repositionable.
Right, but I'd already written what it was for, and so I couldn't change it. But
no worries. So when you did this, as you were working on your ProGen assignment, and you did the tab, and did you find that it made it quicker for you to go back?
Well, I did it after I did the ProGen assignment. So, but now it's much quicker for me to be able to find these things. And so I really appreciate that. Val's got a great set of tabs that she has developed. But I kind of looked at, what the particular sources that I am using right now for the work that I'm doing. And I wanted to make sure that I had those things definitely done. And some of Val's, I probably at some point in my career will see the necessity for them. So I've put them on there, but I'm not sure I'm quite there with those ones yet. Yeah, I'm really, it's made the book so much easier to use. So, one of my questions when I watched the first go round on the webinar or video that you did about it was I got a little confused on whether there was more to the color system than just having it, top, middle, bottom, and kind of in that order, whether there was some relationship that pinks were all for one particular concept or something.
Good question. And I'm glad you asked that, because the answer is no. It would be nice. I thought of that in the very beginning. In fact, when I even did my the first couple chapters, but there's so many different types. You have to have a zillion different colors.
And there isn't that much room to put that many different colors.
Right.
You only have 4 slots basically to be able to put them in.
And so I just did the 4, I like neon bright colors. And so I just wanted to have all the color tab lined up the same way. Other than that, color doesn't mean anything. I do color code my genealogy research, as far as the binders and that goes. That's all color coded, even the file cabinets, everything. But in this case, no. So good question. I'm glad you thought of that.
Okay. And I guess, you probably just started tabbing things as you were going along. And so here on your basically second iteration, you knew which ones you wanted and you knew which ones you worked. So I didn't have, your first book with the sticky tabs, Post-it notes on it. So I was basically just using it, straight with these tabs, which I really like. They're really helpful. And I think the way that you did it, with the sticky notes, so you get a sense for which ones you are really using, would be a really valuable exercise. I kind of used your boilerplate to come up with what my things were, but I think from a personal perspective, I was trying to shortcut all the work and let Val do my thinking for me.
So sure, I'll tell you which tab. Yeah. But you're right, though. It was overall, the entire thing was pretty easy because I already knew what I had tabbed here.
Right.
And all the pink ones were added. The color coding here was all the pinks ones had to do with a ProGen assignment.
Uh-huh. So that's interesting. Yeah, the way you did the color there. Yeah.
But and then of course too, I hadn't done the spreadsheet of the page number and the tab title before you had gotten started on it, but that's all done and ready to go, and you can kind of take a look see. And I have since doing that video and tonight and the spreadsheet, I've added some tabs. I had to add for statutes, and then of course I'm going to make an announcement here. I told you that Elizabeth Shown Mills, didn't do my private research, but she had an example of the Great Chicago Fire in here. If anybody reads this book page by page, or if Elizabeth Shown Mills is listening, please tell me what page the Great Chicago Fire citation is so I can make a tab for it. But I also had to look up something for a client project, and I didn't have that tabbed. You don't always come across or use every single situation, and so I've since added that. So that's what you can do too.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to go out and buy a few more packages of tabs and add some more things, but probably sit with this for a while and kind of see how I use it and what more I feel like I want. The other thing that when I was watching your previous video on this was the page numbers, because they're pretty close and I bought this book, and I don't remember where I got it, but I bought this book about a year ago when I started on ProGen, and thought I got the right one, and I didn't realize that I was buying an older edition. So the page numbers in my book are older than what you have, and I'll probably, this is the second, so I guess I could jump over the third and get the third revised, but I may just hang on to this for a little bit, because it's obviously Elizabeth has added many things, but right. This is way better than what I was doing. So
because you are going to refer, there's some cases where I refer back to this one, and that's why I haven't gotten rid of these, because when I got all done, I go, oh, well, I'll just get rid of those. It's like, oh, no. I'll need to find something in this one that is not in the third edition.
Yeah.
So I had initially got 4 packages or 5 packages of the 4 colors, so it's a package of 24. So and then 2, because I got them at Walmart, they pretty much carry those at a standard all the time.
Right. So I may look and see what I can find online too. There's not really a Walmart that's very close to me, and they're a little more spendy at Office Depot, I think. So
Yeah, and if you want, I can send you the tab titles or whatever for more if you want, or you can get it. Message me at the end. I'll remind to email it to you. But Terry's going to put it down at the bottom so that everybody can have it.
The spreadsheet. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not copyrighted because I want everybody to feel comfortable to share it. Mm-hmm. And again, it's a personal choice. So if you see something that I've tabbed that, well, I'm not going to do that. That's up to you. Right. This is your book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Any questions, Terry? No.
No questions on it. Nope.
Okay.
But we're ready to move.
What we want to do is, that's the other part of today's chit chat, is to work with the book specific for what you want to tab.
So this past March, I was at a 2-day lecture up in the burbs here on Irish genealogy. And on the last day, there was a lecture about the Great Potato Famine. And a lot of the stuff they were referencing came from the Atlas of the Great Irish Famine, which I had never seen. So as I'm sitting there listening to this lecture, I texted the hubby and I was like, get me this book, which he did. I had no clue really what I was getting into. So this is my book.
Oh my gosh.
It's huge. It's heavy. It's got to be like 40 pounds. I swear to God, it's so heavy. So
show the front cover, please.
I'm trying to do it so
wow.
The light.
Nice.
Yeah. It's got such great information, and it's broken up in so many different ways. So when I got it, what I did is I went to the index and I wrote down all the pages that were for like County Cork, because my people were in Cork. And then I went through and I wrote down all the pages that referenced Canturk, which is, I think it's the Poor Law Union. Because I didn't reference any of my notes, I could be wrong. But let's just say that it is. So then I wrote all those down and I went through and I kind of read all those pages. So I'm going to tab this book only because I think with all the Irish stuff I do, it's going to make more sense to have that at my fingertips to be able to get it. So my thought was, let me get to the index. My thought was to go through, do it by the county, and get all the counties, not just like label Cork, but do all the counties. But then to go through and do any of the areas that my family's referenced in. So I know they're in the parish of Drumturrif. I know that they're in the town of Garavasoi. That might be very small information. But the Poor Law Union that they're part of, like that needs to be tabbed. So I'm going to go through and kind of write all those down and go through and do it. And then maybe go through and highlight as well so I know where it pulls up. These are all my grand plans. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I don't know when I'm going to have time to do it. But I just thought that it was such a great idea to be able to have all that information at your fingertips.
Definitely.
To be able to sit there and do that with something this big, so 704 pages, that's before the index.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like 712 pages.
So if you could, I can see with that one, you could easily do a tab, and this where you could even color code, because you can color code all the chapters, each chapter. Okay, and that could be in one color if you want to do the color things. You don't have to. This is just my
colors will make it smarter.
So here's all the chapter, first page of each chapter, and then for County Cork, I would take another tab color that you like for that county, and anything that you tab for it that's between the chapter for it tab and the end of the chapter would be according to what is on each page that you want to tab. Then it's up to you if you're going to take it on down the margins. I just like it so that when you open up a book and a tab is open and the next tab behind it is, you can clearly see it to flip to. You're not covering it up. So kind of like the concept of the index tab dividers you do in a notebook binder. Okay. And then you could do a third color that is specifically topic, like the poor.
Or like,
yeah. And because there might be other topic related that's in other counties that you want to be able to read, but you know, that's an idea. But again, that could be too crazy. You can go with the same.
Because it'll be a lot.
Yeah, but I would certainly do all the chapter, the first page of each chapter in one color, and then within each chapter a different color, and just keep it uniform. So you know it just looks cleaner and neater, and that way you won't be frustrated to find something.
Right.
So can I throw an idea? Just I mean, I'm thinking either when you have your tabs, that you could use a different color ink, maybe for the ones that were relevant to your family, or put a line on them or something to kind of differentiate that this is a special Terry's family tab.
Right.
And so those ones that you really want to be able to refer to frequently, you know, you might use the different colors, but then doctor them up a little bit so they make a little bit more sense to you, or give you a little bit more information just from the tab itself, because of the color that you're using.
And see, I mentioned the colors in my tabs meant nothing in the book, but in all of my genealogy stuff, they do. And of course, so my Lair line is all green. And because of it having Irish in it, the Irish, I can see right away with using that book, when it ever had to do with the Irish in this line, I would be using a green tab. Because then it coordinates.
I use a lot of green into my stuff because of the Irish.
The Irish, yeah. But yeah, that's a good point that Mary made, is a specific just for, this is Terry's. You know?
Yeah. Well, originally my thought was, yes, I was going to break out just the different counties just because it might be easier to get to it as I do others' research, but really the nitty-gritty was going to be just specific to what I needed. You know, I don't need County Tipperary. I don't need County Offaly. I don't need Antrim. You know, that it's just my people weren't there that I know of. Well, Antrim, I think they might have been too, but that's, you know, not proven yet.
But you still want to, because that's a chapter, they're each chapters of themselves, right?
They're actually, it's not. It's, the book is sectioned and not chaptered, it looks like.
Okay. Well, since your time is of the essence, your time is very limited, I would do what is important to you first.
And then you can always go back.
And you can go back and do the sections or the chapters or whatever. Yeah. And I would do, you know, once you decided which one, and have them in order, because I'm OCD that way, I would put like a bookmark so I would know, and then what I wanted to write on that tab. And while you're sitting there watching a webinar or watching a TV show or something, or having your morning coffee, just do a few tabs. That's what I did with that one, is my morning coffee.
Well, I mean, the basic thing out of this, no matter how I end up doing it and when I end up doing it, is that for books like this, like this Famine Atlas or ESM's Evidence Explained, where we're going to be constantly pulling information out, it really is smart to get it where it's at your fingertips.
Right.
I do like, and I've cleaned up my desk so I don't have ESM's book here. I've moved it.
And I forgot to go and get my source book so you could see it, but it's kind of sort of a mess anyway, because I've got different sheets of paper in it, so you don't, you know. No.
Yeah, but she has it like she has it almost tabbed by color, by coloring in the spine.
Ooh.
And I don't have the newest one. Mine's at least a year old.
Who's that and what's that?
ESM's Evidence Explained.
Okay.
I mean, pick up yours for a second. Like where the, if you open it up
See
to
the gray. I mean, there's
yes,
like
the
gray
gray,
lines.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, the
First part.
gray, yeah, the gray sheets are the quick check models.
yes, love it. So it was smart that she at least did that.
Yeah, that's here. Let me show the difference between a regular page and then the beginning of the chapter with the quick check models in the gray shaded ones. But I also, because it's the teacher in me, is to caution not just to simply use that, but to go and read about that particular source as well.
Yeah, get the why, not just the monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah. Yeah. Because here I may have this quick check model, but then behind it I've got the white pages for the nitty gritty and why and the wherefores and who's and what's and yeah. And but this is, like you said, it's a great way for a reference book to do this system too. But I would highly recommend that you do those pages or parts that are important to you first.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'll give you an assignment that by sometime next week we'll check in on you.
It's not going to be done. Way too much going right now.
Yeah. Well, I don't like to put a deadline on that kind of thing either. But and like Mary said, she's a work in progress.
Right.
Well, my thing is I'm not even researching right now. I don't even have time for that. Okay. So I've got a lot of other things on my plate that are taking precedence.
Well, and you could really start with even just a little 1.5 by 2 inch Post-its and just stick those on the pages that you find that you use.
Yeah,
and live with that for 6 months until you get how you really want to organize it, and then jump to the big guns.
Very
the permanent. But I tell you, these ones that I use are harder plastic and they don't bend.
Right. I'm just saying, while you're setting up your system and thinking about how would I like to organize this, and you know, kind of a trial run, and then when you get it like you want it, then use the permanent tabs.
I mean, I have a lot of those little flaggy ones that I can just stick in there to mark the page for now.
Right.
And then come back and do the actual individual.
Yeah. But remember, just, you know, learn from my own mistake that's what the intention was in this book.
Yeah, but I'm not talking like if I do
years ago
smaller, like look at these, like these little flippy tabs, you know, it's going to be, you really have to change it. You can't let these sit, because I could see how this would do that.
Yeah.
But this is just like, you know, the intent is. And I don't think it'll be as many tabs as what you've obviously done with Ethan's book. Yeah. At least to start.
Yep, definitely. That's good. Well, I'm glad. I'm really, really glad. This just, I mean, touches my heart when I see that whatever I've done can help somebody else, and to have this instigate you into having that particular book done, or an idea for a different book too.
That's great.
Yeah, so cool. Well, that's it for me. Terry, is there any other specific thing regarding that book that you want to point out?
No.
Okay. No. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate Mary being here. Thank you. And
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you again soon. Enjoy the upcoming weeks with everything that you have going on. And Terry, thank you again for being here and instigating this, and have fun with what you got going on over the next couple of weeks.
Thanks, Val.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I'm going to have fun. I now take off for a major, huge, and I'm sure I'll buy a book that I have to tab at the International Germanic Genealogy Conference. And I already kind of sort of have a couple books in mind. So we'll see, but I won't be able to tab it once I'm there, but you know, I can bring it back. So I hope this has helped you. Whatever we can do to make your genealogy life and your organization easier is what we're here for. And so I encourage you, if you do have any comments or questions, to feel free to post them below. Terry, please remind me after I get back from the conference if there are any that we need to address. I want to take care of that right away. If you have a bit of a longer type of question or comment, feel free to put it in a simple email to info@theinDepthGenealogist.com. Remember to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and please go in depth with all of your genealogy and your ancestors. And with that, I bid you a fond farewell. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.